for an exciting day. So I'm Ashley Bratton from the Fellowship, and I'm so happy to be helping host these awesome Netcasts every month. Every month, the second Thursday of every month, we have a different topic that you guys have asked for. So our heart is to always equip you with the tools you need to be successful and just give you ideas and resources. So we're excited about today. We have a special guest, which I'll get to in just a second, but I did want to give a little housekeeping right as we get started. One is, if you're going to be moving around today, if you can put your mute on and mute your video as well. We don't want to get dizzy while we're watching the Netcast, okay? And also, I want you to take some good notes today. We have a special giveaway. Listen, it's the Christmas season. We're all running around like, ah! So we need, guess what we need? We need coffee and we need Jesus, right? Really the opposite order. We need Jesus and we need coffee. So we have a Starbucks gift card. We've got some merch for you, some coffee, a cool little notebook for you to take notes and keep up with everything this holiday season. So take some notes. We'll do a giveaway at the end of this Netcast. So stay tuned for that. And then also, I wanted to kind of let you guys know about something really cool coming up in Raleigh, okay? We have a Raleigh weekend planned just for you in February. If you haven't seen the email yet, I'm actually going to share my screen with you really quick and show you. I'm going to show you guys really quick. Let's see. If you did not get this in your inbox, then go look for it. Please let me know. That means I don't have your email or it's going to the junk folder or whatever. And either way, we want to know. But I sent this out. We have a Raleigh weekend planned February 22nd through the 24th with Pastor Ron and Hope, as well as the whole RMFI family. We got a leadership summit for you on the 22nd that evening. So it's going to be all day, teaching, food, fellowship. That evening, we're going to have an East Coast ordination. So if you or somebody from your team wants that next level, that next step in ministry, then we want you to be involved in that. That's going to be really special and really cool. And I know most of you pastor, and it's hard to sneak away on a Sunday, but if you just want to get away or if you have some extra time, we'd love for you to stay the whole weekend. And Pastor Ron will be preaching live both services, and Pastor Hope is going to end it with a ladies' night out in Raleigh. So any of those events, we'd love for you and your team to be a part of any that you can. And also, if you look, we got hotel accommodations. So they'll hook up with special rates and deals for you guys. But this email has everything. And listen, for RMFI members, I want you to know we got a special code for you. It's through Eventbrite. And when you go to check out, if you just hit the code RMFI, you'll get $10 off each ticket that you purchase. That's for your team, your spouse, whoever. So we wanted you to know about that. And I'll post this email later in case you didn't get it, so you can have all that information. And so you can have all the information. Let's see. And then I wanted to tell you that, but really the whole point of today is we have an amazing speaker that's going to help talk to us. The topic for today is to create community and grow your church through small groups. We have Melissa Hayashida with us. She is a world changer. She's a rock star. She's a rock star mama. She's an awesome asset to the kingdom. She's been serving the Lord a long time. Listen, she spent 3 years at Hillsong College learning, growing from the best of the best. And man, she is such a godsend to Redemption, California. Her husband's the marketing director there. They are just a powerful couple doing big things for the kingdom. And I'm so excited that she's here today. She took over Lifegroups in May after the transition, and she has been killing it. She's also the young adults pastor. Just to give you a little taste of her, she actually, when she got the small groups from May until now, they have almost tripled in California from what they were when they started, when she took over. Also, she has doubled what even Greenville did at our Greenville campus. So needless to say, she has so much to share, so many resources that I feel like are going to really help you guys. And so make sure you take notes. We are going to go ahead and get started. I want you guys are going to be super blessed by Pastor Melissa. And let's see, Pastor Melissa, if you, there you go. Go ahead and start sharing your video. We are excited. Talk to us.
Hey guys, as you can tell, I'm in my bedroom, so you see the bed right there. So for me, it's a little earlier than for everybody on the East Coast, but good morning from the West Coast. And yeah, so as Ashley was saying, you know, I am over the life groups and also the young adults here at Redemption. And before the transition, before we were Jubilee Church, I had actually been in the church since I was 4 years old. So been there for very long time, and I had worked in the junior high ministry, the high school ministry, currently in the young adults ministry. I also worked in our Spanish ministry. So you can say I've probably done about every single ministry, probably just not men's ministry. But it's been fun, and just doing the life groups has been pretty amazing. That God has, you know, is doing such a great thing here, you know, with Redemption. And I just want to, you know, encourage all the churches and all the pastors and all the leaders that this method works. You know, and when I was in Hillsong, I was part of a flourishing life group, and I told Ashley yesterday, but the life group leader, he is currently now a pastor in San Francisco. And, you know, we were talking about the Hillsong method and, you know, comparing that to the Redemption method. And I really feel that here at Redemption, we do, we just go a little bit above and beyond. And I think that's because of, you know, the things that I've learned and the things that were implemented. So I have made a PowerPoint presentation, as I do. And so I'm just going to share my screen and show you. Here we go. We're going to go through this. This is what we do here at Redemption. And this is kind of like the main points of what I wanted to talk about today about life groups. And so let's just, you know, let's get started. And so I think one of the main points, something that's very important, is that when you do life groups, you want to connect that with your church's vision. And so Redemption's church vision right now is, it says, Redemption Church aims to reach out in redeeming love and liberating power to bring the word of God to people of all ages and socioeconomic backgrounds. Through the word of God, Redemption aims to break poverty mindsets, remove religious barriers, and destroy the walls of racism that divide us. And Redemption life groups, I feel that it's very important that if you do life groups, if you already have them, or if you're thinking of having them, to have a mission statement. Because you really want to have a mission for every ministry that you have in your church. And so our mission statement here is: life groups exist to fulfill the vision of Redemption by facilitating intentional community in everyday life. Because God created us with a need for community, we believe in doing life together in a small group setting, and life groups meet weekly in a variety of locations, such as coffee shops, online, and homes. So our mission statement is pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. You know, we want to be intentional about our community in everyday life. And I believe that, you know, even though life groups is by seasons, which is something that I am going to talk about, that through these seasons, we do everyday life in community. And so even when we're not in our season of life group, that we have community, intentional community, just every day. We go to the grocery store, we go to the coffee shop, we go home, we go to work. We just want to make sure that we are having intentional community, and people know that life groups is a big part of our life. And so our Redemption Life Group method is, we are sermon-based, which means that we take our discussion guide from the sermon that Pastor Ron preached on that Sunday. So the week actually starts on the Monday, And so we get the sermon from the Sunday, and then we start Monday. And so it is 6 to 10 week seasons. I call them seasons. I know before we used to call them semesters, but I kind of felt like that was school. You didn't want to correlate life groups with school. And so it's 6 to 10 week seasons, and it depends on the calendar. And sometimes you can take a week off due to holidays. Me as the life group director and coordinator provide the discussion guide and a 2-minute video that is weekly. And we post the guide and video online. And it's on a separate resource page. It's not emailed, even though some people, you can explain that it is online, everything is provided for you on a separate page. People still want to have things emailed to them, but just to get the load off of you, everything is just on this one page where people just can go. You just give them the website and boom, you're done. So I just felt that just made things a lot easier. So we have a life group leader code. Life group leaders give life. L, we lift them up in prayer and encouragement. That's what a leader does. We invest in people. We invest spiritually, emotionally, sometimes physically. If sometimes, people in our life group just need somebody to talk to. They need a hospital visit. They just need a phone call. So we invest in those people. We also facilitate. So we are to be a shepherd, a life group leaders to be a shepherd, to lead the flock, to lead the people, to challenge them, for them to get to a higher level. As life groups, we don't want the same leaders every single season. What we want are the leaders to create leaders as well in their life groups. So if you have a life group and let's say there's 10 people and you've had the same 10 people for 5 years, you're not doing the purpose. The purpose of a life group is for those people in the group to grow. And so out of that one life group, we want to create more life groups. And that's where the growth comes from, is that you want to create leaders in that group. You want to challenge those people. You want to tell them to step forward in their faith, to challenge them to grow further in their faith and become life group leaders as well. And in the life group leader code, E is for echo, which just means to keep us informed. I was very diligent and consistent by making sure that my leaders kept me informed. By email them weekly, I made sure that they would send me attendance every week of their life group. I didn't care about who was in their group. I just want to know how many people, because at the end of the day, you really want to know how many people life groups are affecting. And so by the end, when we first started, we have 106 life groups, and this was my first semester doing life groups. And so every week I took attendance, and so we had over 500 people every single week being affected by life groups. And I think it was even more than that, because there's some leaders who didn't want to tell me what they were doing, and some leaders that just didn't get back to me that I knew they were having life group, but that's okay. But I knew for a fact that there was about 500 people being affected every single week by life groups. And when you know that number, it encourages you. It helps you with your passion just to keep going and to keep going with life groups, knowing that it is something that is successful. And so leading your life group, well, I ask the leaders to prepare. Make phone calls, send emails, send texts, confirm date, location, and times. Atmosphere, first impressions are important. Especially if people have a life group in their home, you want to make sure you want to put some candles on, or have some cookies, or, you can even spray some Febreze that smells like, fresh baked cookies. But, you just want to make sure that when somebody walks into your environment, they feel welcome, they feel warm, they feel like this is going to be a good hour and a half. That taking that time out of the week is something that it was worth their time. And icebreakers. And on the guide, which we're going to get to, there are always going to be on my guide that I do, there's always an icebreaker that I include, but the leaders, they can do their own icebreakers or they can use the one that I provide. But I always feel that, especially if there's a new person that comes, that it's always nice to get them laughing at the start of the group, because then when it comes time to share, they're easy to open up their heart. So we're going to get to the discussion guide. So our discussion guide, like I said earlier, the life group coordinator writes out the guide based on the Sunday sermon. So I'll just tell you how I do it. So since we do have 2 services, does make it just a little bit easier. I will sit in for the 9 o'clock service, and then during the 11:15 service, I will go to another room, and in my notes, I will write out the discussion guide during the service time. And so, but if for people who just have one service, the coordinator can sit in that service, write the notes, and then after service, take about, usually only takes about an hour to write out the guide, especially if you already have a template ready. And you can do that after service. And then since it's online, I would just send it to Derek, who does our website. And so the coordinator and pastor, we make a 2-minute video every week during the season, taking about 2 points from the sermon. And this is usually after I've written the guide. So I can write the guide, and then I can take about 2 points, 2 important points from the guide, and then I'll go make a video with Pastor Ron, and we'll talk about that for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. And the guide is usually only about 2 pages long. It includes an icebreaker, message summary, scriptures, discussion questions, conclusion, and a weekly challenge. And don't worry, if I'm going through this a little quickly, this will be sent out to you and you can go through it. And I also have right here, this is an example of a discussion guide. It is about 2 pages. And this was our week 8. This was the week after Thanksgiving. So Pastor Ron is on a sermon series called The Difficult People. And so, you can read through it, and the highlighted portions is just the questions that I have for the facilitators to go over with their group. And, the red italic is sometimes, I really want to make this discussion guide super easy for the leader and facilitator. So I try to give them as much as possible. So in the questions with the red next to the highlighted, it just some examples that I give to the leaders, that just in case if they're calling out the question and they don't have an example for themselves, I'll give one for them, and they can use that one for their group. And we've had so much success with these discussion guides. The church that was before Redemption, when they came to the West Coast, we had discussion guides as well, but people had told me who were doing life groups for years with the church, they were saying that sometimes it was very hard because it was short and they just didn't know how to proceed after some of the questions. They would provide maybe like 2 questions and they didn't know how to go from there. And they didn't know how to keep going with the conversation. So, which is why I believe that this guide is just phenomenal. And it helps out for new leaders and other leaders who have been doing it for a long, long time. So there is resources on lifegroups.myredemption.cc, and I can go there after I do this PowerPoint. But this is where all of our resources are. I have the manual. We made a life group manual and I put that online, and this is all free, and will always be free. Our videos for the whole season are on there. All the discussion guides are on there. How to join a group is on there. How to lead a group is on there. And so all of that stuff is online. And maybe some of you are thinking, well, I don't have a website. I don't have a web guy. I can't really do it. I also made sign-up sheets, physical sign-up sheets, because I know some people too at the church just don't have access to a computer. They don't have access to get onto the website. So I just wanted to make it easy both ways. It was very simple, just make something to get their information on paper. And for those tech savvy people, they can go online and do it themselves. I also do a weekly leader resource email, and I use the website Constant Contact. And these weekly emails, like you can see, they're pretty fun and bright. And so it's just for people, just to give them reminders. And this was our week 3. And I was just, telling the leaders, great job, keep going, keep up the great work. And on the bottom is attendance. And so on Constant Contact, what you can do is you can link. And so where I ask people to send their attendance, I link it to an email. So we have a separate email, lifegroups@myredemption.cc. And so I just ask them, just send me a number. I don't care about names. I don't care, I trust that your life group went well, but just give me the numbers of how many people came. And I send this on a weekly basis, and just in a different format. We also have a Facebook life group leaders page, and that is actually private. And so I don't allow just anybody to get into this group. This is just for people who are a redemption life group leader. And this is just for leaders to encourage each other, post pictures, let them know like, hey, we're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. These are the people in my group. This is what we did tonight. Give other groups ideas. So that's been very successful as well. And as always, I link the resource page as well, just in case if people forget, where the resources are. Flow of a life group, we hang out 15 to 25 minutes, depending what time you start, depending when people come. It's a welcome, small talk. We do icebreaker for about 5 minutes. Like I said earlier, you can use the one in the guide, or you can use your own. Discussion, 35 to 50 minutes. You can open in quick prayer, play the video, and then read the message summary, and you can use the guide to facilitate. Closing prayer, and there is a challenge at the end of every guide, and it is just a weekly challenge for the groups to either do together or do separately. And this closing prayer and challenge is about 5 to 10 minutes, and this is allowing the conversation to reach the landing point. And so you use the conclusion in the guide, and you can take that challenge. The challenge is usually, so for example, we had the difficult people, this sermon series. And so one of the challenges was, pray for those people who are deliberately difficult, and take some extra time to pray for them. And, sometimes we don't want to pray for them, and sometimes it is hard to pray for them, but, God wants us to pray for them because, maybe there are difficult things that are going on in their life we just don't know about, and maybe that's why they're being difficult. And so just different weekly challenges, not very hard, but just ones that will make your heart and your mind contemplate just a little bit more about what you need to do during this during that sermon series and during the season of life groups. So I'm just going to conclude this with our 2019 dates. We have 4 seasons, and so these are the dates. I've already made up the dates. And so our winter season, we start the first two Sundays with Sign Up Sundays. And so if you're wondering what Sign Up Sundays are, so what we do is before the season starts, we want to make sure that people have the time to sign up. So what we do is that first Sunday is we have only leaders sign up, because we want to make sure that we get the leaders plugged in, so that when people want to join a group, we have sufficient leaders. So that first Sunday, we have just leaders sign up. And then on the second Sunday, we have leaders and attendees sign up. And so even if, let's say on that first Sunday, somebody's like, I don't want to lead a group, I want to join a group, and I want to sign up today. Okay, let's sign you up. And when we get the leaders, I'll give you a call and make sure that you get plugged in. So I always want to make sure that even if people want to come during their time, they still get plugged in. I will give them a phone call, or I will have my assistant or a volunteer call them up or email them. Just make sure that they get connected and followed up with. Follow up is huge when it comes to life groups, because people want to feel community, but if they feel that they are not being followed up on, then they won't feel the community in the church, and most likely they will leave the church. And so always make sure that follow up is so important. The third week, we always have training. The first season that I started, I made a mistake. I made training on the first day that we started the season. And so on that first day, I had a video planned with Pastor Ron. And what happened was at the same time, I had training. So I ran to do the video and then I ran to do training. And I said, okay, never again. We're planning that 2 different Sundays. So just make sure you plan out the Sundays or whichever days that you will do training or the first of the season. You just plan it out correctly. And so the winter season is a 10-week season. And then we're spring season. Again, like those 2 sign-up Sundays, the training on the 28th, and we're skipping April 21st because of Easter. And then we start May 6th to the 24th. And it's only an 8-week season. It's short because the week after June 24th is the 4th of July. So we want to make sure that we give people the week for the holidays and that they are able to get with their families, with their friends, whatever they're doing. Summer season is always shorter because of vacations. Kids are out of school, all that good stuff. So July 14th, sign up Sunday. We're only doing 1 sign up Sunday. But even on the 21st, if on that training people want to sign up, people can sign up at any time. And so we have a 6-week season. And then for the fall, it goes back to the 10-week season. However, we have a break during Thanksgiving. And so these are for next year. And just know that if you plan the dates, sometimes they will change because of different conferences or meetings or things that maybe the senior pastor has planned. And so be flexible with the dates. And even if it's not a full 10-week, that's okay. If you have to take a week off, again, that's okay. You just always have to communicate with the life group leaders, make sure that they know if anything has changed, because then they have to change their group and they just need to know in due time. And so I think that's it. For me here and for the life groups. Ash, I think I will.
You are awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was so helpful. And gosh, you've done amazing work in San Jose. And so I am so thankful that we get to work together. We get to continue to work together. And so if you want to go ahead and mute yourself for 1 second, we're going to continue. Listen, we have not forgot about the video yet. I don't know if you guys can see me. I don't know why it won't show up. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. There we go. Can you guys see me? Hopefully.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry. I couldn't see myself. So I wasn't sure if you guys could see me. But we have not forgot about the giveaway either. We're going to do a giveaway in 1 second. But I think she's shared some things that hopefully were super, super helpful for you guys. Just strategies, systems, sometimes just seeing stuff all laid out, big picture. It helps simplify it. It helps break it down, and it helps give a shell to work from. And I know that most of you joined in today. I don't know if you have small groups, if you're wanting to make them better, if you're wanting to start them. But I also wanted to share with you guys something that I would love to help you with as well. If you'll give me 1 second. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. When it comes to small groups, I think like Pastor Melissa was saying, I mean, one of the biggest things that she did was just have a strategy and kind of execute it, and there's great shells that she gave us to look from. But I also wanted to let you know there's so many other things too, just especially when you're starting, to consider before you actually start. And we would love to walk alongside you guys and work together to help you guys. We have seen firsthand how small groups can change a church, how they can take a big church and make it small, how they can grow a small church into a big church just by having that community and having those discussion times and being able to do life together with like-minded believers that love Jesus, that can be there for each other. And so there's a couple of things that I was thinking about I wanted to share with you guys, just counting the cost, just knowing that if you do start small groups that some people, you might have to cut some stuff because you don't want things competing. with small groups. Pastor Ron, we cut Wednesday night services and everybody thought he was crazy, but 3 or 4 years down the line, it was one of the best things ever. And I think that was one of the big decisions that really helped them grow, is just not having other stuff to compete with. Also timing. There's so many different times of year that are better than others to start, having plenty of time to kind of prepare your people. You don't want to start small groups and tell them the week before, yeah, we're starting small groups. That's not going to work. You need a timeline. You need to have time to prepare your leaders, to train your leaders, to prepare the people and kind of make that shift, because it's like the Titanic. You can't turn a ship quickly. You have to do things to kind of set it up. So also demographics, will culture affect your participation? What are your demographics? Unfortunately, I wish there was a cookie cutter model that was just one size fits all, but God has entrusted each of you with different people in different cities. And so, you know what? We would love to help with you guys. We would love to come alongside and help. If small groups is something that you want to do, if it's something that's on your heart, if it's something God's stirring, we want to help you. Melissa and I work hand in hand together. We could help you come up with a timeline, with a strategy based off your vision, based off your goals, based off what God's put in your heart. We can help you determine systems and tools to use. We can train your staff. We can help you train your leaders and give suggestions for all of that. We can even come and help recruit participants for your groups. So we would love to walk alongside you if that's something, like I said, that God's put in your heart. And so my information's below. Of course, our goal is to equip, empower, and expand. And we want to help you do that. So make sure you take advantage of those resources. And I know I promised you that we are going to do a giveaway. So I did want to go ahead and do that. If I know all you guys took awesome notes, because y'all are super studious and are hungry to grow and change. So I need somebody in the comments, figure out where your comments are. And the first person that can tell me something from the leader code wins our giveaway for today. So let me pull up chat. Talk to me. Who can tell me something that was from the leader code? Pastor Melissa talked about the leader code. I'll tell you, that is half your battle, is choosing great leaders. So let's see, Pastor Robert, lift through prayer and encouragement. Yes, I love it. All right, Pastor Robert Hines, you are our winner. So we're excited about that. And I just have a few announcements as we close out this Netcast. First of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience. We had some technical difficulties early on, but I'm super thankful that you guys stuck with us. So I wanted to just remind you, I'm going to share my screen again and show you Pastor Melissa, the website that they use. Let's see. Is amazing. So I went ahead and pulled it up, and gosh, there's so many resources here. There's frequently asked questions, how to lead a group. They have their trainings on there. You can look at the breakdown of everything. So this is just a great way. I went and clicked through. I mean, you can download the manual. There's so many things that she has there, and it is really amazing. So make sure that you take advantage. Make sure you take advantage of that. Also, I wanted to just remind you of that the next Netcast, second Thursday of every month, is January 10th at 12 noon. And also wanted to let you know again about the Raleigh weekend. I hope that you'll come hang out with Pastor Ron and Hope and the rest of the RMFI family. And we wanted to do some stuff as much as we can on the East Coast to keep everybody ignited. And it's going to be a powerful day. We're going to have teaching. We're going to have fellowship. We're going to have breakfast, lunch. We're going to close out the evening with a separate event by the East Coast Ordination. So if you know somebody that just has that desire to take the next steps in ministry, whether it's getting a ministry certificate, whether it's getting licensed, even ordination. We would love to be a part of that journey with them, and we would love to celebrate with them in Raleigh. So anyway, the last thing I wanted to show you, I think I showed you early on, but just in case we had some people join, is I think this is the right screen, is also, hold on one second. There we go. Is the email from the MailChimp that we sent out. So like I said, please let me know if you did not get this, but I'll post this later in our group. But it has all the different links for everything you would need for the whole weekend. There's hotel accommodations, and definitely do not forget the RMFI code. $10 off everyone, and us, we are barely charging anything. It just really helps us to know how much food to buy. At Raleigh campus, we have limited seats, so we want to make sure that if you get a ticket, you have a seat. But it's going to be a powerful time in the Lord, and I can't wait for you guys to be a part of it. So anyway, we will be sending out Pastor Melissa's PowerPoint and her notes, as well as the website. Also, we're going to share her contact info, and she is great. If you have any questions or have anything, please reach out to her. But also reach out to me. I would love to plan a 2019 date to come to your church, to work with you, to work with your leaders. And thank you guys for joining us. That wraps it up for our monthly Netcast. It's been a great time. And until until January 10th, we'll see it. We're praying for you guys to have an amazing Christmas, amazing time with your church family, and just praying for you. So love you guys. You guys have a great week, and we will talk soon. Thanks.